So, once again, off the cuff, unscripted little chit chat. And today I thought we'd have some fun talking about the lotto. Now, here in Virginia, there are a lot of ways to play the lotto. A lot of ways to play the lotto. One of my favorite games is the lotto, where you can win $365,000 a year for life. Well, I think it's a fun thing, and I keep winning $2 every time. Just about every time I play that game, I win $2, and of course, it costs $2 to play. Anyway, I read a very interesting article, as I said before, and the article had to do with why people who win the lotto go broke within 2 years. And according to the article, the number one reason is, oh God, I love reading funny articles. The number one reason is because of their own ego. Because of their own ego, they make sure that everybody knows, everybody in the entire world knows that they have won the lotto. So what happens, it puts them in a very odd position, because they then find out that they have more relatives than they imagine, number one, and they have more friends than they knew about. Here's the funny thing, though. Their friends and relatives, you really have to respond to their requests. And it's quite often it's very difficult to know where greed ends and need begins, because greed will almost always overtake need. So they will come to you because of your big mouth and say, look, I really need da-da-da-da-da. And because they will play on your conscience, you will do it. So their ego is the one thing that gets them in trouble. The solution? Make it anonymous. If you win the lotto, don't tell anybody that you did. Or, if you do, then make sure you have a plan to explain away the money. You know what I mean? I'm going to give it to the American Cancer Society, whatever. All right. So, watch your ego. The second major reason why people go broke within 2 years is that they buy the lotto tickets, but they had no plans on winning. So when they did win, they just did not know what to do with the money. They didn't know. They had no plans whatsoever. As for me, if I won the lotto, $365,000 a year for the rest of my life, the first thing I would do is to arrange for the money to go to my kids, my siblings, my grandchildren, my relatives, and my friends. Yeah, I would do that. And the way I would do that is I would delegate. First of all, it's $365,000 a year, is it not? So that's not really a lot of money. It really is not. So what I would do is I would put it in my credit union account, and I would have deposits that go directly into savings account for my grandkids, for my kids, my siblings, if they need it, my relatives, and my friends. Now, how do I determine where the money would go? First of all, I take care of my own needs, okay? That's something that I would do. And then I would determine where the money would go based upon the request that I would receive. In other words, I would differentiate between greed and need, all right? Now, let's assume for a moment that I played the big, I guess it's called a Mega Millions or something. Anyway, the big one, where you won $200-300 million or something like that. Way, lots of money. Well, the first thing I would do is I would stick to my plan, That is, I'd help out my grandchildren, my kids, my siblings, my relatives, and my friends. And then, of course, I'd take care of my own needs. And then I would splurge. In other words, I would go on this channel and I would go on my Facebook channel and says, okay, I have X amount of dollars and I want to hear from you. I want to know what your needs are. And once they tell me that, then I would help them out. The problem is, I think millions and millions of people are in need, but they don't get the help they want because people who are very rich give their money to charities that can benefit them, the rich. In other words, if you're very rich, you give to a charity that you can write off on your tax account. You don't give to individuals because you're not giving because of the charity. You're giving it because of the benefits to you. So I would ask my Facebook friends and my YouTube friends, okay, you tell me what your needs are, and I would go from there. Now, I know that works because I had an experience in Jamaica where the guy came up to me and he says, you know, I want to have a fruit stand along the tourist road, and I could use some help. What I really need is to buy some cinder blocks. And if you could help me to buy the cinder blocks, I will get the rest of the funds. I just need to buy the cinder blocks to get it going. I said, sure. So I gave him the money where he bought the cinder blocks. And now he's got a very thriving fruit stand along the tourist road. Now, here's a guy who expressed his needs, not his greed. And he was willing to say, look, I just need the money for the cinder blocks for right now. So I think a lot of the people who ask for money would be in that category. And I would be able to tell the difference between greed over need. Now, I would also give away, of course, a lot of the money to that based upon the what I just told you. But if I won $300-400 million, I would buy myself a private little airplane, an LSA. At my age, I could qualify to get an LSA license, a light sports aircraft license, okay? If I'm in good health and have a valid driver's license, I can get an LSA license. And then I would buy myself an Akoya aircraft. That's right, an Akoya aircraft. Now, if I really won billions and millions of dollars, I would no longer fly commercial. I would splurge and I would fly in a private jet wherever I go because I rarely go anywhere. And when I go, I would invite people who want to go along with me. So there you go. Now, if I won like $1 billion, the thing that I would do is to make a solar charging station for electric cars at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, both ends. I would do that because the charging station would be the hub. And having the charging station, different businesses would build up. You know, a restaurant, a convenience store, maybe a small gas station, hairdresser, people who do your nails. In other words, the hub would be the solar charging station for your cars. And I would have maybe, 10, 15, 20 different stalls, all run on solar power. And then the business, it would be the hub for other businesses. You see what I mean? When you have a lot of money, you make a lot of money because you can carry out your plans. That's how it works. So, what do you think about my little chit-chat about winning the lotto? By the way, I must tell you something. I would also, one of the first things that I would do, even if I won the $365,000 for the year, is to buy this place, this little cottage where I'm now living. I really love living in my little cottage, and I would buy it. I know that the landlord will probably go with the highest bidder, but even so, maybe I could be the highest bidder. So who knows? But I love this place, and what I would do is I would refurbish this place while I live in the backyard in a little house, and I would build a studio that was greater, much bigger than this one. This is about 10 feet, let's see, it's about 7, maybe 8 feet across. So I would double the space, and I'd make it maybe 20 feet across. And then I would actually have a weekly show. I would. And I would have the barn, extend my show, the barn, and I would have some of the most interesting people, ordinary people who do extraordinary things. So, did I bore you enough? What am I going to title this little chit-chat, off-the-cuff, unscripted little whatever? Maybe I'll call it a not important chit-chat about the lotto, something like that. Anyway, you know me, when I talk on these little chit-chat, I pretend I'm talking to just you. I'm talking to just one person. I'm sitting in your living room next to you, and we're just chatting.